Welcome to Next to Madison, a podcast to help you live your best life.
It's your host, Madison Malloy, and I have exciting news. My new product is now available on Amazon called Color Your Way to Abundance, a 21-day manifestation guide for wealth, health, and love. This unique coloring journal will help you manifest by coloring in the affirmations while you continue to repeat them. This will help activate these affirmations so they become a reality. Grab your copy today and relax, color, and start manifesting.
Welcome back to another fun episode of Next to Madison. I am your host, Madison Malloy. Please do not forget to rate, follow, subscribe, share, all that good stuff so we can keep bringing you powerful episodes that make you happier, healthier, and wealthier. On today's episode, we are talking how to overcome self-sabotage. For those of you who personally know me, you know that I kind of consider myself, now I used to be the queen of self-sabotage, and I didn't even realize I was doing it. And once I was able to kind of recognize the patterns and break the patterns, everything started to change. So this episode is a must listen because you are probably unconsciously doing some of the same things. But yes, there's a lot going on in the world. We are more than halfway through. I just saw today that we are closer to 2050 than we are to the year 2000. It is crazy. Life goes by so fast. We are all on a ticking time clock, and we don't know when our time is up. I'm not saying that to be morbid. I am saying that as a reminder that it is now the time to get out of your own way, stop self-sabotaging, and go after what you want, because you do not want to get to the end of your life and be sitting with your hospice nurse who then shares with everybody what your top regrets were. So I always like to remind people, think about that. If you had one day to live, what would your biggest regrets be? And what those are is what you need to be doing today. Was it not taking enough risk or chance in business? Was it not telling people you love them that you did? Was it being too afraid of rejection? Was it being too afraid of being seen? Really sit with that. And I want to encourage you to just go out there and crush it, because it's so sad. But when we die, how quickly people mourn us and then move on with their lives. So stop living for other people and figure out what it is you want. Be a blessing in disguise. We had a guy, I'm going to have him back on here. I need coffee because it is early morning here. We had a guy, Tommy Spalding, on the podcast probably a year and a half ago, I think. And he said one of the greatest things. He said, treat everyone like your funeral is going to be held at a stadium with 80,000 people that you had an impact on. Just imagine that, your final goodbye. Like, how many people did you impact? People don't remember what you said, but they always remember how you feel. So anyways, let's get into self-sabotage. I had made some notes because I know there was so much to cover here, and I wanted to make sure I covered all the points so you don't miss it and you can start getting out of your own way, right? So some people think like, okay, what is self-sabotage? Why would I self-sabotage myself? Well, it can show up in very like sneaky ways, right? Like I used to think I could be lazy about certain things, but meaning procrastinating, right? I'll do this tomorrow. I'll do this when I'm ready. I'll get this done, then I'll do that. Maybe not finishing things. I'll wait until this. These are sneaky things and words and habits that are a form of self-sabotage. You're not lazy when you procrastinate. You're actually scared, right? I was scared of failing. I was also scared of succeeding, scared that maybe I'd never be enough. And I've learned that most of us really aren't stuck. We're just scared. We're not procrastinating on purpose. We're not lazy. We're scared to be seen. We're scared of what people think if we succeed, or scared of what people think if we fail, instead of just having that inner validation. So today I just wanted to unpack all these sneaky ways that we can self-sabotage, why we do it, and how to finally get out of your own way, right? So what is self-sabotage? Okay. And again, I made some notes because I do not want to miss anything. And I was writing this out and I was like, this has got to be unpacked in this episode, right? So what is self-sabotage? It's when we consciously want something. That's our mind, our knowing mind, right? But subconsciously, the 95% that operates everything we do and what we get, but subconsciously do things to block it. It's actually rooted in fear and limiting beliefs, usually beliefs we didn't choose, but were passed on to us, right? Our brains are wired for safety. So anything that feels new or big, like even success, can feel threatening. So people take what they're making and they say, well, I want to make 10 times more. I want to have financial freedom. But their nervous system subconsciously repels it because it's not safe, because they haven't learned how to open that container to feel safe. And that's really where that visualization will come in, is visualizing and just to imagine and delulu in your brain that you have the amount that you want and feel that, because that will help to start to make your container open and you to feel safe for more to come in. Your subconscious wants to keep you safe. So you have to reprogram it to let it know that bigger things are safe. So that's a key one. So there's 5 common sabotage patterns, okay? Procrastination disguised as perfectionism. This one hits home because this was me. I wanted everything to be perfect. So I wouldn't put things out there unless they were perfect, right? So what would happen, because perfect doesn't exist, is sometimes they just want to get out there. So we want to make sure, like, if it can't be perfect, why start? So many businesses, think about where a business started to where it is today. If you looked back at Amazon when it first launched, you would be like, oh my God, who would shop here, right? Businesses evolve. You just have to start, break through that terror barrier, right? Done is always better than perfect. Another one is starting but never finishing. This was something I used to do as well. How many times have you started a course, a plan, a dream, but you bailed halfway through? It's because that fear creeps in right as you get close to that breakthrough. So be careful of that. When you're going to start something, make a promise to yourself that you are going to finish it. And if you're not going to finish it, then why start it? So you must program yourself to start it and finish it and let go of perfectionism, because it doesn't exist. The third one is overcommitting or saying yes to everything. If you're always busy, you're never going to have time to focus on real goals. Figure out what fuels your soul, what makes you happy, what's truly important, and cut out the rest. Fourth one, negative self-talk. That's that inner critic. Who do you think you are? That is sabotage in disguise. Remember, you need to take care of yourself before you can take care of other people. Okay? So the bigger you become, the more of service you become to others. So it's better to get successful than to hold yourself back. And the fifth one is resisting ease. If it feels too easy, you think it must not be real. But what if life gets to be easy? It does when we program ourselves to know that it's easy. Every challenge is a learning opportunity, a chance to grow. We don't grow when everything's going great. We grow when there's obstacles. So that's why I always say to people, when you're having a hard time, this has been kind of a bumpy year for me. But now with all the self-awareness tools and how I've conditioned myself and worked on myself, I'm able to lean into that more and have more self-awareness of, okay, I need to sit this one out. Feeling a little grumpy today. I'm going to sit this one out. I'm going to figure out what's going on, what I've been thinking, what is not working for me anymore, and figure out what is making me happy and focus on that. So why do we sabotage? Well, we do it because it's all about safety, right? The ego wants predictable, not better. Let me say that again. The ego wants predictable, not better. Sometimes it's not fear of failure. It's actually fear of being seen. And this relates to social media, writing a book, having a podcast, putting yourself out there. A lot of people will keep recording, and then they never put it out there because they're actually afraid of being seen. I had this and I didn't realize it till like 3 years ago. And I was on stage trying to be, be known as a comic, be famous, what quote unquote. But at the deep rooted part of me was afraid to really be seen. And so I would just scratch the surface level instead of really digging in and being like, I'm okay if people don't agree with me. I'm okay if people don't like me, because I'm confident in myself and believe in myself enough that I can be seen. And being seen means you're setting yourself up to be praised, but you're also setting yourself up to be criticized. So you need to make sure that you've got that rock solid thing in you so you can step out and be seen. We sit there and we spend so much time on social media watching other people live their lives because they're not afraid to be seen. And look at all the miracles that are happening for them, the places they're buying, the places they're going. That can be you once we get rid of that self-sabotage. I want you to catch yourself even today after you've listened to this episode. Like, what am I doing? What am I doing today that could be self-sabotaging? And like put a little check so you start to recognize it. The quicker we recognize it, the quicker we can start to break the pattern. So, for example, like when I was writing my book originally, I just kept stopping, not because I couldn't finish it, but it meant putting myself out there in a big way. So I really had to work on that. And I remember right before that book launched, Time to Light the F Up, I had a panic. And I remember calling my publisher, crying with my mom, saying, I don't want to put this out there. I don't want to do this. I cannot believe I'm writing this. I cannot believe. And I realized, I'm like, wait a second, everything that I was teaching people, that fear, because it was big, because it was new, because it was this, that fear comes up. That fear is still going to come up. But then I recognize, wait a second, if I don't put this book out, there's going to be so many people that aren't going to be helped by what I've went through. And that my real authentic self came through to help them transform their own lives. And so I finally sat there and said, you know what? This book isn't about me. It's about the people I'm going to help. This book was designed to help others, not to help me. It was my gift to help people get over things. And I wanted to do it in an authentic, funny, different way from all the self-help books that I had read in the past that I felt were just talking at me instead of to me. So that's another way, like whenever you have like a big promotion, a big project, you're working on something new, I always say move in silence. Don't let other people come into your energy, and just do it and just tell them later when it's all done, right? Because you want to make sure that you're not self-sabotaging through other people's energy either. So put yourself out there. Who cares what other people think? And we've talked about like stop caring what other people think on this episode, so I'm not going to go into that too much. So anyways, how do we stop self-sabotaging? Okay. Obviously, as I've said, we have to become aware of the pattern. So ask yourself, what am I afraid will happen if this works out? Okay. Really, really sit with that and write it down. We start to lose, the fear loses power when we really write it down and identify it. And then identity work. Tell yourself, I am the kind of person that I finish what I start. Even if you're not, you're going to start creating that mantra to reprogram that subconscious mind. You want to take small tasks, okay? Shrink the task. Stop trying to climb the whole mountain at once. Just write down 3 things that you need to do today or this week to move closer to your goal and cross those off. Not everything that needs to be done, just those 3. And you're going to start realizing that you're going to be able to actually do a lot more. And then visualize. You need to visualize, like picture yourself as the version who already has this big goal that you are trying to achieve. It is so important, you guys. I can't express enough that it's the feeling that creates the results. The feeling of already having it. That's why when we don't really want something, we get it because we're like, oh, yeah, that feels easy. That would feel easy to get. That would feel great. Like I already feel that way. So we can naturally match that frequency to bring it in. So self-sabotage doesn't mean something's wrong with you. It just means something inside of you wants to feel safe. Okay. So self-sabotage is basically just your subconscious mind trying to feel safe. Okay. So, but here's the truth. You're safe if you succeed. You just need to rewire that subconscious and open up that container so you can receive more. So your new safety program is different, allows more, right? Success and more money is safe. Being stable is safe. Creating something to change people's lives is safe. Okay. So here's a prompt I want to leave you with. You want to write, where in my life am I choosing comfort over growth? And this can apply to business. It can also apply to relationships. Okay. And then the affirmation I want you to constantly write down and say to yourself is, I am worthy of success. I release the fear and receive the blessing. I am worthy of success. I release the fear and receive the blessing. So please share if you know somebody who is self-sabotaging. Comment if you are self-sabotaging. You can always reach out to me directly and at madisonmalloy.com. I can help you with self-sabotage. I am working on a course right now for that. I've got books, I've got journals, and I've opened myself up to a few one-on-one clients. So if that is something that piques your interest, definitely let me know. But just remember, self-sabotage is just fear. Once we step through the fear has absolutely no power. So we are more than halfway through 2025. I want to encourage you all for the rest of the year to make it the best ever. Wake up every day and say, universe, God, show me how good it's going to get. And expect miracles. And when you recognize that you're self-sabotaging, aka procrastination, aka perfectionism, mark it down and realize it is safe to succeed. It is safe to be wealthy. It is safe to be seen. And the more you step through the fear, the more you're going to realize that the fear is just an illusion and doesn't actually exist. All right, you guys have a great rest of your week. And don't forget to rate, subscribe, all that good stuff so we can keep getting out there because Madison is not afraid to be seen, but I just need to be seen by more people. So we couldn't do this without you. I thank you guys so much for listening and supporting. We are 6 years in. We are not stopping. And we will be back next week with an amazing guest on Next to Madison, the podcast to make you happier, healthier, and wealthier. God bless.
Hey, your host here, Madison Malloy. Please make sure to subscribe to the show on all podcast platforms and please rate and review us on iTunes and Spotify. Also, if you have any questions or comments, you can email us at contact@nexttomadison.com. I thank you again for listening. Bye.